much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Run.
What?
Alright people, are you ready to wet your whistle? This Wednesday it's the Brews at 10, live streaming on my left eye. Are we all brewing tonight? Let's brew this thing. I'm your humble host Lefty. It's very good to see the chat getting lively already, and Davini was first in again. That's at least twice in a row now, possibly 3 times in a row on stream, but that's what we like to see. Commitment. And Moore's with us as well. Very good evening to you. Doc Davies also joining us, as the shouty bloke quietly informs us that he lives on coffee. That's also fine, whatever your source of caffeine or whatever it is. And how's that for dedication, people? 6:15 PM. Very good, Davinia, very good. Make sure you hit thumbs up as you join us. There is a poll with the stream as well. We'll see. Will America attack Iran before the end of this stream? Say you aye or say you nay? Very straightforward poll there. Binary choice. Who knows? Because we will come on to certain foreboding occurrences that have been happening over the last 24 hours. So it certainly can't be ruled out, but will it happen before the end of the stream? Which is, of course, a PMQ's stream with Keith's Catchphrases. The league continues, and another game. But after that, we'll be getting on some more UK and global stories from a socialist point of view. Something definitely is brewing, Doc. Something definitely is. There's talk of war abroad. We might sometimes laugh and jest and make tongue-in-cheek comments about it, but it is a serious, realistic, distinct possibility, people, here in 2026. How's about that? And how's about these people? The Brew Crew, the marvellous members on the channel. Thank you very much to everybody on the list. Currently have 155 members towards the target of 250. Huge thanks and solidarity to everybody who's gifted memberships recently, as well as renewed your own, which are very fundamental principles for getting us towards that target. Thanks again, everybody. Other ways that you can support the channel or this stream: you can give us a share across social media. Super chats are also open if you're watching live. Super thanks if you're watching back later on. And there's also a Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of the stream or any other content on the channel. So please do check out the descriptions as you're sharing your own social media. Give us a follow there as well at MyLeftyUK. Preferably, very preferably at the moment, on Blue Sky, with everything that's gone on with Twitter recently. We might talk a bit about that later. It might come up in PMQs actually. In a bizarre show of common sense, Keir Starmer has attempted to hold Elon Musk to account because Grok was apparently capable of producing indecent images of kids given the right instructions. So was threatened with a ban, which Twitter, now currently known as Twitter, has said it will comply with. But that's still awful. So yeah, we're at Blue Sky. Give us a follow up MyLeftyUK on Mastodon as well, for anybody who uses that fledgling social media platform. We do have backups, just in case. You never know when the bottom's going to come out of Twitter. It could all be over. And I think that's all elements of the self-promotion part of the stream intro dealt with. Thanks again, everybody, to the members. I'll finish off by saying it's just 99 pence to join the list of incredible people you saw on their roster. Lots of perks for you to enjoy, including some exclusive content, static emojis, other stuff. Hit the perks button. See what all the fuss is about. And more to come in 26. Also getting a tech upgrade on the channel. For more high definition streams and content. A few more tricks up the sleeve. Okay, a bit more about what's coming up then. Obviously PMQs, first time reaction and commentary from yours truly, so no spoilers in the chat please for anybody who's seen it already. Thence, after that, we do like to look at a poll or two following PMQs, so take a look at some of the latest stats. We saw two pretty monumental polls, which of course always have to be taken with a pinch of salt, but we saw them on yesterday's stream, and one of them had Keir Starmer down as losing his seat to the Greens, but also, shockingly, Jeremy Corbyn being pipped for the first time, according to the poll. So I've got another one I haven't produced the poll, the channel hasn't produced the poll either, should just say. It's another Stats for Lefties poll, great for compilations. This will be a national one, which also includes your party. It's factored in, which apparently a lot of people have been pestering the page to do for some time. So we'll take a look at those. A bit of a controversial council story over an election delay and a protest that was in the news today as well. Take a look at that. Plus the latest ICE-capades. I do have a few things to disclose there, including an update on a story that I mentioned on yesterday's stream, and a couple of other videos, including some great testimony and the latest on school strikes that have been taking place, day 3 of the school strike in the USA. Also a bit about the latest in Iran. I don't know if this will come up in PMQs or not, so I guess I'll just throw this story out there now as a loose talking point, because it's something that's slightly frustrated me today, just to see this banning of the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans thing dragged up again. The Zionists just can't let this go. You know, they can't just accept the loss. No, we didn't want their football hooligans coming over here, terrorising the communities of Aston in Birmingham for a European football match. Rightly told that they weren't allowed to come, following advice and intelligence from other European agencies, including the Dutch police, who had previously, that is, the Dutch had previously seen those thugs on the rampage throughout their cities, so we didn't want that here. However, instead of, like I said, just letting it go, they've demanded the resignation of the police chief who authorised the ban, and now Shabana Mahmood's gotten in on it. She's pretty much the only person in the whole world who's now calling for him to resign, and says that she doesn't have any confidence in him. So I know that that came up in Parliament today. I think that was separate from PMQs. PMQs obviously not the only session that takes place on Wednesdays. In fact, there are often significant debates beforehand so that they can all get the 2 cents in and then go on to PMQs. So I'm aware that that was part of the parliamentary proceedings for the day. He has issued an apology, that is the police chief in question. But of course he shouldn't have even had to do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the decision. And I would hope that he would make the same decision again. In the end, by the way, they lost the match and were knocked out of the competition in the end, which is another bit of satisfaction. But they certainly have thrown the toys out of the pram, been crying attempt, and Nick Ferrari got in on something else earlier that we might take a look at with regard to Labour Friends of Israel, a member essentially being excluded. It's a long story, and I'm risking getting off on a tangent, so we'll just kick on with proceedings. I'll just find that Maccabi Tel Aviv thing. Oh my god. And the trolls as well, a lot of the online trolls over that, just really quite pathetic. Wah wah, boo-hoo, we can't come and smash up your cities and scream chants celebrating a genocide and criminal damage, and yeah, completely vile, celebrating the death of Palestinian children from the stands they've been recorded doing as well. And we're not just talking about a few individuals en masse, we're talking about thousands of people chanting these disgusting chants. They're not there for the football. They're really not there for the football. It's not about football. So good riddance. But shall we start off with something a bit more uplifting and light-hearted? I'll be honest, I thought a lot more of the comedy content providers that we follow here at My Left Eye would have had a bit more to say about a lot of what's been going on recently. ICE in the States, Iran, the protest, this USA Mossad attempt to overthrow the leaders, trying to redo 1953 all over again. Alas, it's been pretty bare this week, but Ross Charles has had this one out. And it's slightly longer than the clips I'd normally use, but it's quality, as always, from Ross Charles, who does a great parody of J.D. Vance, who, of course, has defended, or attempted to defend, the ICE this week. ICE, whatever you prefer to call them. Immigration, fucking customs enforcement. Often get mixed up with I get customs, that is. Yeah. Mixed up with control. So let's see the latest from Ross Charles. Oh, shit. That has just reminded me that I didn't put a link in the description of the stream yet. I'm going to do that whilst the clip's on, actually. So there will be a link to this video on Ross Charles' YouTube channel. So go and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy this as well.
Hello, I'm Vice President at above ground pool full of Hellman's mayonnaise. JD, I couldn't handle AP English, it was far too advanced. Welcome to my press conference. Let's talk about Ice, baby. Vanilla Ice has endorsed us, so we can do that. ICE is doing okay good things for the country. From rounding up anyone they hate by claiming they're an illegal immigrant, to bravely and courageously standing up to all the terrifying unarmed protesters they have encountered, ICE agents are proving time and time again what Americans can do with very little education, complete anonymity and immunity from consequences, and the moral compass of a 12-year-old sociopath that tortures small animals. The cosmic entity you all refer to as God bless America. ICE agents are securing the border by deploying nowhere near the border. ICE is creating jobs by removing a significant amount of labor from the American workforce. ICE is protecting America by shooting anyone that so much as looks at them sideways. ICE has been instructed by our administration to shoot first and come up with a flimsy reason why afterwards. How long have people with literal Nazi tattoos worked here? Longer than you might think. I will now take some questions. Mr. Vice President, you said... aren't you forgetting something? Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You said these ICE officers have absolute immunity. Can you tell us what you meant by that? Look, these ICE agents need to be able to do their jobs of tearing apart American families, violating people's constitutional rights, and throwing away IDs every time they accidentally deport an American citizen for speaking Spanish. They cannot do any of that effectively if they're terrified of being reprimanded every time they break a man's collarbone or traumatize a 2-year-old or shoot an unarmed protester in the face 3 times. At the end of the day, these brave men and women, who are we kidding men, are just hardworking white supremacists, I mean Americans, who are expressing their frustrations through violence, just like you and me. I'm not like that. That's too bad. He's done. Who's next? Do you have... Thank you. Do you have any comments on the recent ICE shootings that happened in Portland just the day after Renee Nicole Good was shot in Minneapolis? Okay, good question. We have reason to believe that the 2 unarmed individuals that brave and courageous ICE agents so bravely and courageously perforated with their bullets that were also brave and courageous had ties to Venezuelan gangs. But there's been no evidence found linking either victim to gang activity at all. Evidence. Such a human concept. What? If someone were to claim that they had evidence that my name wasn't actually J.D. Vance, or that I'm not actually from Ohio, as I have stated in the past, or that I cannot process earth nutrients without first concentrating them into a beam of light, would you believe them? Well, if they had evidence of it, yeah, I probably would believe. I'm sorry, what was that about a beam of light? Bottom line, we will no longer tolerate any gaslighting from the public about the shooting in Minneapolis. Mr. Vice President, can you tell us what gaslighting means? I sure can. Moving on to the next inquisitive statement. Yes, you, sir. Thank you, Vice President Vance. You are so great and wonderful and powerful and strong and human and relatable, and the most definitely a person that a person can be. Oh, shucks. You didn't have to say all that. I am literally programmed to... Just ask your question, please. As I am someone who is completely impartial and here of his own free will, I was wondering if you had any thoughts on the so much fraud found in Minnesota. Minnesota? What are you, thirsty? You are so funny, Mr. Vice President. We are taking steps to get rid of rampant fraud, but so far, everywhere we have looked for fraud has had no actual fraud. We can only conclude that the fraud heard we were coming and then made their escape before we arrived. We must now look elsewhere for all of this cowardly fraud. Wow, what a strong and virile answer. Tim Walz could never give an answer like that. Here's a question for you. Why does Tim Walz get to be known as America's Midwestern dad, but not me? I'm from the Midwest, apparently. I've thrown and or caught football. I've spawned children, the amount of which currently eludes me. 3. Yes, that number, the one you just said. I am more qualified to be America's father than Tim Walz. Everybody pees their pants every now and again. The fear experienced at the hands of ICE is by design. A fearful population is a controllable population. In an effort to make you all better, more effective mining drones, the Glouthian Mining Consortium shall remove all your fear and doubt. By force, if necessary. The rules of the GMC are simple. Comply or die. Do you think Erica Kirk would respond positively if I sent her a nude? Probably. Oh, okay, good. Let's get this one back to the ship for reprogramming, all right? Excuse me, Mr. Vice President, but I do have an important question. I don't remember calling on you. Going back to what you said about ICE employees having absolute immunity, are you saying that ICE representatives should be allowed to commit acts that are illegal? I'm saying that when an ICE agent does it, that means it's not illegal. I'm sorry? What was that again? Whoopsie. Oh.
Invoking Richard Nixon's famous interview with David Frost. When he was talking about the impeachment and the Watergate scandal. Of course, trying to spell out in legal terms, actually in America, there are cases where, obviously, if the president commits a crime, it isn't illegal.
Oh, that's wrong channel there. Anything ICE does in service of their mission is 100% authorized. And by mission, do you mean be violent, racist, xenophobic scumbags? Yes. Okay, I'm going to come at you with a scenario here. What if ICE representatives illegally detained Usha? Who? Usha Vance? Your wife? Oh yeah, that. What if ICE raided your home? You know, detained your kids, shot up your living room, putting bullet holes in all your stuff, your picture frames, your cabinets, your lamps, your couches. The fuck did you just say about my couch? What? Nothing. I was just making a point. Did you do something to my precious couchy wouchy that I make love to on a nightly basis? Whoa, I didn't do anything. I was just saying, what if I seize him? Make him pay for what he has done to my precious cushiony soulmate. Hey, what the hell? Get your hands off me. Where are you taking me? Okay, good.
My name's J.D. Vance. That's the name I have. It's not Doug or Glenn or even Jeffrey. If you say my name, once again it's J.D. Vance, then you've said the name that is the name that I have. J.D. Vance.
Rothschilds, as I believe the name was J.D. Vance, though. Very good stuff, great stuff. There is now a link in the description of this stream if you want to go and subscribe to the channel or check out that video again. Both links are right there for you. Highly recommend you do that after the stream. Get it in your watch list / bookmarks. Rothschilds there. Alright, let's get into PMQs and Keith's catchphrases. Just check the live chat. It's up to date, it is. Good stuff. Before we go in, please don't forget to fill out the poll if you're just joining us on stream. Do you think America will attack Iran before the end of the Brews at 10 this evening? Vote you aye or vote you nay. Ready? Yes, PMQs. Reminder, this is a first time watch for me, no spoilers in the chat please, as I try and give a live reaction and keep up with the scores. As we get through another round. Here we come, Keith.
Oh no. We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Alright, back again. I will quickly go through the rules before we take a look at the league for anybody who's not familiar with how we do this thing. It's pretty simple, really. We have 2 words or phrases that we keep count of, and they are in contest against one another. And there is a league format as well. But there's just a few rules and caveats to get through. Obviously it's Keith's catchphrases, so the contending phrases have to be spoken by Starmer. Second of all, it's a winner stays on format unless all the other contenders have been played. It's currently Security who's defending a winning streak of 2. Third rule, slight variations are allowed, for example past tenses, pluralisation and so on. I'll be the judge of that. And finally, where the league's concerned, it's 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and sod all for a loss. The season will last until the summer break of this year, or Keith resigns, which may come very shortly after May's elections, if not before. So that's basically the rules. Pretty straightforward. These are the current standings. Starting at the top. Postman Twat, who won't be contending this week, is still the league leader with 10 points, followed by Budget with 7. In third, following that, streak of 2. We have security on 6 points. With 13 mentions over the 2 games, we'll be defending the streak this evening. Planning 4th, changing 5th. So on to the bottom. Deal in 6th, who's played 1 and lost 1, as has Fix in 7th. In 8th place we have tonight's challenger, the old classic Black Hole will actually be making its debut in the league, that is, since it changed to a league format. So let's see if they can get some points on the board. And finally, Inheritance has played 1, which they lost, and there will be an as yet unknown other contender yet to be decided. But for now, it's going to be Security defending the lead against Black Hole this evening. Time to visit the Lunatic Asylum. Yes, indeed. JK, nice to see you on stream as well. Doc, good point. There is certainly, might not resign, but he could be forced out. No confidence, etc. We'll see. There have been stubborn prime ministers even who've said they won't quit and then shortly after have done. We'll see with Keith. All right, into Parliament now. And let's take it away with Lindsay Hoyle.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions. Lincoln Job. Question number 1, Mr. Speaker. Very well done.
He's an asshole. Mr. Speaker, can I start by condemning, in the strongest possible terms, the sickening repression and murder of protesters in Iran? The contrast between the courage of the Iranian people and the brutality of their desperate regime.
Keith cares about protesters all of a sudden. Stop the front page.
This brutality face to face. We're
Stop
working
the
with
press.
allies on further sanctions and doing all we can to protect UK nationals. Mr. Speaker, time and again, under the party opposite, towns and cities across the north were failed. Today, this Labour government delivers change. A major new rail network across the north and a new northern growth.
I did hear about this as well, yeah, reviving abandoned parts of HS2, for example, which Reform would very likely scrap if they do win the next election. That is, hopefully not. Come on, Greens, come on, your party. Yeah, but that's been announced today. High-speed rail line between Manchester, where this stream's coming to from this evening, and Liverpool, Solidarity with Liverpool. Also, I believe there's going to be another one from the Midlands as well. So, we'll see. We'll see if they actually follow up on these plans. Of course, it wouldn't be absolutely sensationally shocking if Starmer made an announcement and then did a U-turn on it.
Strategy. That is the renewal that this country voted for. This morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Get on with it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks, particularly about Iran? Visiting schools in my Spelthorne constituency is one of the great joys.
They're burning pictures of Benjamin Netanyahu. Are you all behind that? They're chanting slogans against Israel. Are you all gonna get behind that one? Ridiculous. Like I said yesterday, if Donald Trump, Nigel Farage and Benjamin Netanyahu approve of something, you should certainly stay the fuck away from it, that's for sure.
Of this job. So I was frankly
Apologies
appalled to
for the
hear
strong
that
language.
the Labour Member of Parliament for Bristol North East was prevented from visiting a school in his constituency because he is Jewish. This is anti-Semitism, and it is happening in plain sight. With all due respect to the Prime Minister, I don't want to know how he feels about this. I want to know what he's
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
going to do about it.
Prime Minister. That was the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
How many times are we going to have to bring this up? Do people not know the difference between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism? Do they not know the difference between a country and a religion? If someone openly backs a genocide, then they will be judged for it, okay? This isn't about their religion. This is about Zionism.
Can I start by thanking him for raising this case, because it is very serious, very concerning, and all members of Parliament should be able to visit anywhere in their constituency, schools or other places, without any fear of anti-Semitism. We do take this seriously. We're providing more funding for security and support we're putting in across the country, and we will be holding those to account who prevented this visit to this school.
Just how stupid do you think we are, Keith? Really? Very bad. Very, very bad faith acting there from both of those guys. I can't remember the name of the member who asked the question there.
He's an asshole, sir.
But, yeah, the response from Starmer was equally poor.
He's an asshole too, sir. Gun is made first class Philip asshole.
Annalise Midgley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his commitment to delivering the Hillsborough Law. But it has been proven that following the Manchester Arena bombings, MI5 spent 6 years misleading the public and concealing information. There was no risk to national security because it was a closed hearing. So will the Prime Minister deliver justice for those families and confirm that this government will bring forward an amendment that will make robust the duties and responsibilities of candour for all parts of the state, including individuals in the security services, so we can finally say, never again?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank my...
Well, Manchester coming up there as well, obviously the arena bombing, which is, you know, the memory to which is prevalent throughout Manchester if you walk through. Now, the Manchester B symbol being so prevalent as well. Just one example, and the wonderful memorial in Victoria Station as well, which is underneath the arena, for anybody who doesn't know. It was exposed that the perpetrators were known to the police. They did have opportunities to act to prevent this, not on the evening of the incident itself, but prior to that, having spoken to their relatives and associates. So let's see what Keith's response is. She has set him up to get security off and running. Let's see if he takes the opportunity.
Honourable friend, the Hillsborough Law will right wrongs of the past, changing the balance of power to ensure the state can never hide from the people it should serve. And I would like to acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, I think some of the families are in the gallery with us here today, and I will be meeting them later on this afternoon. I've always been clear the duty of candour applies to the intelligence services. I made a commitment we wouldn't water down the bill, and the amendments we put forward strengthen it. It is right that there are essential safeguards in place to protect national security, and we've got that balance right. I will meet the families and we'll outline the next steps
Off the
on
mark,
Monday
1-0.
In relation to that crucial balance.
We come to the Leader of the Opposition, Kevin Bednall.
We go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I agree with the Prime Minister's comments?
Prepare yourselves. Don't worry if you get the sensation of déjà vu or think you're experiencing something weird. No, she does repeat herself so much. Chagos Islands, anyone? Is that going to come up? Maybe.
On Iran. Today, Irfan Soltani faces execution for protesting in Iran, and I'm sure the whole House will be united in condemning this.
There are Pal-Action hunger strikers who've been on hunger strike now for over 70 days who are at death's door. They will certainly now be permanently physically affected by the protests. They've been failed by the state. Likewise, Starmer doesn't even want to acknowledge this protest, protesting the fact that they are political prisoners, that the group shouldn't have been prescribed in the first place. And if you care so much about protesters, why have you been so silent about those cases? Because we haven't heard a word from Keith or Badenoch on these. So don't ramp up the USA Mossad overthrowing, because I'm not going to bite, for one. Yeah, I'm anti-authoritarian. I'm all about freedom of protest. Like I said, you've got to smell a massive rat if Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, Keir Starmer, these sort of people are in favour of something. So, no sale. This is an attempt at an uprising for political position in the Middle East. $10 trillion worth of oil in Iran. Suitable position to be able to attack other Middle Eastern countries and China or Russia, should they wish, pretty much, is what this boils down to. They don't give a rat's ass about any protest rights or misogyny. There's a lot of misinformation as well being spread throughout the press about the number of protesters. But we're not fooled that easily, Kemi.
Our thoughts are with him and his family and the brave protesters fighting for their freedom against an evil regime. Mr. Speaker, I know the Home Secretary will be making a statement today on the West Midlands Police. The first thing that she should be announcing is the sacking of the Chief Constable.
So this came after PMQ's,
right, pushing this issue. Mr. Speaker, can I welcome the Prime Minister's latest U-turn? I feel like I say that every week. Mandatory digital ID was a rubbish policy, and we on this side of the House are glad to see the back of it. Yeah. But yesterday, the Health Secretary said the Prime Minister's New Year's resolution should be, and I quote, to try to get it right first. To try to get it right first time.
Could that have been timed any better? She tried to say try and get it right first time, and didn't succeed in trying to get it right first time, right the first time.
Pathetic. To try to get it right first time.
She says for the second time. Oh,
yes, you did say that. You did say that. My question is, does he agree?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm determined to make it harder for people to work illegally in this country, and that's why there will be checks, they will be digital, and they will be mandatory. And I'll tell her what this government is doing, whether on planning, child poverty, employment rights, investing in our NHS. We're taking the right choices for Britain, and they oppose every single one of them. And she talks about U-turns and consistency.
What you did U-turn on the two-child benefit cap. You have made a lot of U-turns. You've made it essentially like shooting fish in a barrel for Kemi Badenoch. It's just so easy to grab the low-hanging fruit that you present to her. Yeah, sometimes even she can't get it right. But even you have to admit that because of public backlash and outrage, you're struggling to get a lot of your austerity policies through.
From the party that used to recognise the challenge of climate change, and now they run from it, who promised to cut immigration, but then lost control of it, who once took great pride in our diversity, now they talk of deporting our neighbours to achieve cultural coherence. And Mr. Speaker, on consistency, don't get me started on 5 Prime Ministers, 6 Chancellors, 8 Home Secretaries, 16 Housing Ministers. They had more positions in 14 years than the Kama Sutra. No wonder they're knackered and they left the country screwed.
What?
A lot of waffle, Mr. Speaker, but it's still a U-turn. The member for Hull East has...
Maybe your young Ukrainian friends know a bit about that particular bit of literature, Keith.
said, so interesting, Mr. Speaker, Labour MPs must think very carefully before defending policy decisions publicly. He said, and I quote, "This stuff leaves us looking really stupid." Okay. I'm sorry to tell him, but Labour MPs have been looking stupid for a long time. But let's look, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let's look at some other things the Prime Minister didn't get right first time, starting with the family farms tax. Some farmers were so terrified they sold their farms last year only for the Prime Minister to U-turn 2 days before Christmas. Will he apologise for the misery he's caused countless farmers?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the principle we put in place on inheritance tax...
We've only got £5 million worth of assets. God, we're impoverished.
Is the right one. We listened, we made a national. But what we're doing is turning the country around. Yes, we've changed the country. We've changed the failed approach of the last Tory government. They crashed the economy and sent mortgage rates through the roof. They left millions stuck on NHS waiting lists. They presided over the worst Parliament for living standards on record. Now we're turning that around. We're changing that. Inflation and interest rates are coming down. Waiting lists are coming down. Wages are up more in the first year of a Labour government than 10 years of the Tory government. But I understand, Mr. Speaker, that she's taking advice on change. She had Nadeem Zahawi in to ask his advice. How to change and how to save her party. Please don't tell me she listened to his accountant. The next day after the advice, he jumped ship to reform the 20...
See, Mr. Toad's back. I thought he was boycotting this thing.
To ask his advice. How to change and how to save her party. Please don't tell me she listened to his accountant. The next day after the advice...
There he is. Yeah, he said he was boycotting Parliament. What was that, a fortnight ago? So that didn't last very long, did it, Nigel?
He jumped ship to reform the 23rd former Tory MP to do so. I don't know which is more pitiful: the flood of former Tory MPs deserting her sinking ship, or the Reform Party so desperate to launder any old failed Tory politician.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister doesn't need to worry about me. I'm all right. And I didn't hear an apology. I didn't hear an apology to the farmers. Has he even apologised to the member for Penrith, who stood up for farmers only to have the whip removed? This Prime Minister treats his MPs so badly, they follow his lead, and he hangs them out to dry every time. Let's turn to another area the Prime Minister has got wrong.
You know you're the leader of the Conservative Party, by the way, Kemi.
His budget doubled business rates for thousands of pubs. So can the Prime Minister tell us, is there going to be any change to his business rates policy?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we're working with the sector to ensure that they get the support that they need. I have to say, the Leader of the Opposition's newfound concern for pubs will come as a surprise to anyone who remembers the 7,000 pubs that were closed under the Tories. And as business secretary, she didn't say a word about it. So we support business. We also support workers, Mr. Speaker. And that's why we passed our Employment Rights Act. And on Mr. Speaker, on Monday,
it's the weekly We're More Tory Than You contest at the Dispatch Box, people.
With workers there, they were very keen on the paternity rights and the maternity rights, which I know the Leader of the Opposition opposes. And whilst we were there at IKEA, they showed me their new prototype, the IKEA Shadow Cabinet. The trouble is, nobody wants to buy it. It's mainly constructed of old dead wood. And every time you lose a nut, it defects to reform.
Have they employed some new comedy writer for his comebacks in the House of Commons? He's really trying to go for it this week. Kama Sutra one was very
he didn't
cringe.
answer the question about business rates. It sounds like he doesn't know what his policy is. And this has been a farce from start to finish. On Monday, the business secretary said the Chancellor did not even realise the impact of her business rates policy. No surprise there. But yesterday...
Yeah, all this and we're on the precipice of World War III. Good point there, Midi Doctors.
The tax office said that they did tell the government what the impact would be. So can the Prime Minister be clear? Did he understand the impact of his own policy on pubs?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we're working
can't even get in one.
With the sector. She hasn't explained why she said nothing about the 7,000 pubs that closed on her watch. We're doing other things on the cost of living to help people, to make sure they can get out, to spend money in pubs and hospitality, boosting the minimum wage. What did they do? They opposed it. Freezing rail fares and prescription charges. What did they do? They opposed it. £150 off energy bills. What did they do? They opposed it. She said nothing when pubs were closing, and she opposes every measure now. And she said a moment ago, I'm all right. She clearly didn't listen to the advice of Nadeem Zahawi, because what he told her, he's now made fun of it. He told her that they failed on mass migration, they failed on our armed forces, and he told her that she's leading, his words, a defunct brand the nation can no longer trust. No wonder he's joined the Tory migration to reform. Mr. Speaker, it's the second Boris wave.
Mr. Speaker, I asked him if he understood the impact of his own policy. He didn't say yes. The reason he U-turns all the time is because he is clueless. He is blowing around like a plastic bag in the wind, no sense of direction whatsoever. And let's be clear, Mr. Speaker, this mess goes beyond pubs. The whole of the hospitality industry, cafes, hotels, restaurants, they're all being clobbered by Labour's tax hikes. There is an answer to this.
International crises much? No? Okay.
Small businesses on the high street. Mr. Speaker, yes, they're all chuntering. He's already agreeing with us on family farms tax. He's already agreeing with us on digital ID. Why doesn't he make it a hat trick and abolish business rates for the high street?
Mr. Speaker, they crashed the economy, and now they want to give lectures. She's wondering why nobody's listening to them. Nobody is ever going to listen to them on the economy ever again. Mr. Speaker, in 18 months, because of the decisions we've made, inflation is falling, and the Bank of England say it's coming back down to target. We've had 6 interest rate cuts in a row. Wages are up more in the first year of a Labour government than under the first 10 years of their government, and we beat the forecasts on growth for 2025. We're turning this country around after the appalling mess that they left it in.
I thought you just had to make some tough choices and difficult decisions, but now all of a sudden it's sunny uplands, is it?
As no one's going to listen
Can't
to
be
us,
both at the
who's
same
going to
time,
listen to
Keith.
him? The winter fuel allowance, U-turn. Waspy women, U-turn. The 2-child benefit cap, U-turn. Grooming gangs inquiry, U-turn. The family farms tax, U-turn. Digital ID, U-turn. Jury trials? U-turn. We hope so. We hope so.
Sounds like a shit fucking radio advert or something for a wholesalers.
I think that's going to be the next one, Mr. Speaker. Week after week, these poor people sitting behind him have to defend the indefensible, only for him to U-turn a few days later. Mr. Speaker, one of his cabinet ministers told a journalist that what's happening at the moment is extraordinarily bad. Another said we've gone through a catastrophic series of missteps. Yet another minister said, we are so unpopular at the moment, I've come to the conclusion it's worth rolling the dice on a new leader. They're right, aren't they?
Mr. Speaker, here's the difference. I changed my party, and that's why we stand here with a majority Labour government. She sits there with her party that lost 2/3 of their...
Oh, Keith, if there was a general election today, you would get your bottom righteously handed to you. You can talk about the loveless landslide with your pathetic turnout and essentially having to just not be the Conservative Party in name. Yeah. Call an election then. Call a general election. I'm not trying to... I know that there is a campaign from Reform to try and do that at the moment. I'm certainly not backing them up. But across the board, of varying degrees, but across the board, yeah, they're for it. If there was a general election right now, today, absolutely ruined.
MPs at the last election, and she's losing more every week. They're queuing up.
See more about that after the session here.
For disgraced Tory politicians. Meanwhile, inflation is down, wages are up, and waiting lists are down. Labour's turning the corner and changing this country for the better.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you will agree, and I hope others across the chamber will also, that we need to recognise and to celebrate achievements. And I say this because across the country, knife crime offences is going down. And of course, more needs to be done and more should be done. But this week's figures have shown that London has had its safest year ever under the London Mayor Sadiq Khan. And in fact, homicide rate in London is...
Yeah, so when Liz Truss is going across to the United States and trying to say that you can't go into certain areas of London and all this other crap. Not just London as well. They made similar claims in Manchester and Birmingham.
Well, she draws attention to the important work of the Mayor of London, and nobody should be talking our country down or talking London down. And she's right to say that since we came into office, the number of knife crime offences is down. But, Mr. Speaker, there is more to do. We're introducing new powers to seize knives and increasing the penalty for selling knives to under 18s. And the party opposite, what did they do? They're chuntering. They voted against those provisions. And what's obvious about London and Reform is they've got a candidate for mayor who doesn't like London, a new ex-Tory recruit who struggled to pay his taxes in this country, and a leader who spends more time in France than is his constituency.
Sir Ed David, leader of the Liberal Democrat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I associate myself?
Here he comes, through a ring of fire, on a paraglider that's got a shark strapped to it. Ed Davey, big entrance.
And my party with a Prime Minister's comments
huge
on
stunts.
Iran, and can I encourage him to go even further on sanctions and also prescribe the IRG? Mr. Speaker, Sandra is 71. She has bladder cancer. Just after Christmas, she went into her local A&E. She had to wait 31 hours to be admitted on a plastic trolley and in a plastic chair. Last year, more than 500,000 people waited for over 12 hours in A&E to be admitted, more than any year in the history of the NHS. Mr. Speaker, this corridor care crisis was created by the Conservatives, but it's got worse under Labour. So will the Prime Minister end this scandal by taking up our plan to end all 12-hour A&E waits this year?
Prime Minister.
Can I first say through him to Sandra that that's simply not acceptable for her or for anybody else, and I'd appreciate if he passes that on to her directly. We have put record investment into the NHS so we can turn this problem around, and we are turning it around. I would say to him that he puts forward his plans for change, but he never votes for the increase in investment and the measures that are needed to actually put that into practice. You can't change things without investing in them. You can't call for change and vote against a budget that puts a record investment into the NHS.
Oh, if change had been one of the candidates this week, there'd have been often a little streak there.
David. Mr. Speaker, we saw what happened to the last government when they failed to improve the NHS, and if the Prime Minister is not careful, that will happen to his. Mr. Speaker, last month I asked the Prime Minister to get a grip of South East Water, who'd left thousands of people in Royal Tunbridge Wells without water. Now it's happened again, not only in Tunbridge Wells, but in East Grinstead, Burgess Hill, Haywers Heath, and other parts of Kent and Sussex. Families, pensioners, schools, care homes, businesses without any water since Saturday. And the water company bosses involved now stand accused of misleading Parliament over their failures. Mr. Speaker, South East Water keeps failing its customers over and over again. So will the government immediately strip them of their licence?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this, because the situation is clearly totally unacceptable. He will want to know that ministers have chaired daily emergency...
At this rate, we're going to be fighting each other in the streets for clean water by 2035. It's going to get ridiculous if you don't fully nationalise all of the utilities immediately and just stop filling our rivers and streams full of literal crap, for God's sake. They're not doing enough. He's going to try and come back with fines about spillages, etc., low-level wrist slapping, where water providers are concerned. Don't get me started on bills whilst we're at it, and private dividends that come in increasing amounts, even though we're seeing increasingly poor performance from these companies. Completely scandalous.
Meetings to hold the company to account, to deliver on the change that's urgently needed at the moment in all the areas.
I nearly went for the button.
We've also doubled the compensation rates for individuals and businesses.
Nearly.
And we're absolutely clear the company must urgently invest in infrastructure, and we'll publish the Water White Paper in due course. But we are holding those daily meetings to hold this company to account.
Dr. Maria Timble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm delighted by today's Northern Powerhouse Rail announcement. A down payment on the north of England's future. Fulfilling Lord Blunkett's rail plan for Yorkshire also included upgrades to the Penistone Line train, the spine that connects...
Let us know in the chat if you think they're actually going to come through on this, especially if you are in the north, as we are here at My Left Eye.
My dad opened Silkstone Common Station as a Dodder councillor. I want my legacy to be 2 trains an hour Tidball for our Penistone line. Will the Prime Minister meet with me to discuss how we can secure funding for the second phase of the Penistone Line upgrade scheme to achieve 2 services an hour?
I do have to say, one issue I haven't heard come up yet about this Northern rail revival, supposed rail revival, is connections between Manchester and Yorkshire, which have been, and into Yorkshire, travel as well between North and South Yorkshire. I know has been something of a problem that's come up. I think once, I hope I'm getting the locations right, but just as an example, someone said it was quicker to travel between Manchester and London than it was to travel between Leeds and Sheffield, which, for anybody who's familiar with the Northern England geography, I think that's pretty ridiculous, but that is certainly one element that needs to be addressed as well, which I haven't heard come up so far. Like I said, Manchester, Liverpool, high speed, and I think it was Midlands, London, maybe another couple of locations, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. It only came out today. I had a chance to get through all the elements.
Prime Minister.
Can I
We'll see if they come
patronage
through
as
on
a
it.
dedicated campaigner on this and so many other issues. And I'm delighted that today we're announcing a transformation in journeys across the north. Of course, it was said and promised many times by the party opposite, but never delivered. We're taking action and delivering. We're working with Kirklees Council to prepare the business case for the first phase of upgrading the line. And I know the Transport Secretary would be happy to discuss the details of that with her.
Today. Bossman Swat's not here today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Question.
You can't hurt us.
Last week, the Prime Minister seemed to intimate that the government was bringing forward amendments to the Northern Ireland Troubles Bill. Within hours of him saying that, the Irish Government's Minister for Foreign Affairs said that any significant changes must have the full agreement of both governments. So, Mr. Speaker, can I ask the Prime Minister, is he intending bringing forward amendments to a flawed Troubles Bill and give a reassurance that the Irish Government does not have a veto over legislation in this House?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this and tell him I spoke to the Taoiseach in December about this, and I know he's committed to delivering on this. The new legacy unit has been established within the Garda, and I'm confident the Irish Government's other commitments will be delivered as set out in the joint framework. For the first time, information held by the Irish authorities is being shared with a reformed Legacy Commission, meaning more families and victims of terrorism getting information about what happened to their loved ones.
Glendon.
Thank you, Mr.
Well, where Britain's concerned, there have been complete whitewashes for some of the crimes that were carried out in Northern Ireland during the Civil War. A lot of the cases coming up during the 1970s and 1980s, of course, time after time after time, we've seen supposed inquiries followed by whitewashes, shirking of responsibility. It's humiliating and just really is appalling, especially where justice for those families is concerned. Quite shameful, a real blemish on this country, but I don't think Keir Starmer's the man to do much about that.
Speaker, I welcome the Prime Minister's leadership and our government's clear commitment to tackling child poverty, recognising that high-quality education is one of the best routes out of poverty. However, young people in one of the most deprived areas of my constituency, attending Churchill Community College, have been taught in temporary accommodation for over 16 months. Can the Prime Minister use his good offices to expedite funding from the Department for Education to support rebuilding this school? Thank you.
Prime Minister.
Can I say I'm very proud of what we're doing on child poverty, lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. The party opposite says their policy is to plunge...
Oh, such gaslighting, isn't it? Yeah. Let's put 500,000 kids into poverty, do a U-turn. And then, look, aren't we brilliant? 500,000 kids out of poverty. Oh, awful. Awful.
Pathetic! Them straight back into poverty, and they should be ashamed of that. The situation she draws my attention to is appalling. Parents and teachers are furious that the party opposite left schools literally crumbling. We invested, Mr. Speaker, £20 billion to rebuild around 800 schools, and our aim is all schools and colleges in England that aren't being fully or substantially rebuilt to be rack-free by the end of the Parliament, and I'll make sure a Minister meets with her to discuss this.
Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I visited Stepping Hill Hospital in my constituency, where I met the incredible team there, but they are working in some of the worst conditions. The staff there showed me the wards where sewage is coming up onto the floors through the drains, and they showed me the ceilings where water is dripping down out onto vital equipment. The hospital itself has a £130 million repair bill, and the Prime Minister is the man that can change this. So will he meet with me, the member for Hazel Grove and the member for Stockport constituency, so we can talk to him about this issue, get some investment in, and then get the hospital that my constituents deserve?
Prime Minister.
Well, I thank him for raising this, and he knows we inherited a terrible situation with waiting lists, performance targets missed, and hospitals like Stepping Hill left to crumble. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. I'm pleased the new outpatients building is open, and because of our decisions, the local trust will receive £75 million in capital funding. Progress is being made. His local trust has seen waiting lists fall by almost 3,000. The number of waits over a year is down by 67%. I will make sure he gets the meeting that he wants to discuss the details further.
I beat him to it. Oh, shit. Turn the session off.
We don't come to play.
I know where we were. Don't worry, people. But yeah, I beat them to it. I beat them to the cut. Where are we here? Let's just see.
Is horrific, and we're up.
Let's bring it back where we were. There's Wesley. Let's just see. I think we were about here.
With a reformed legacy commission, meaning more families and victims of terrorism getting information about what happened to their loved ones.
Glendon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the Prime Minister's leadership and our government's clear for over 16 months.
That the party opposite left schools literally crumbling. We invested, Mr. Speaker, £20 billion to rebuild around 800 schools, and our aim is all schools.
£130 million
in capital funding. Progress is being made. His local trust has seen waiting lists fall by almost 3,000. The number of waits over a year is down by 67%. I will make sure he gets the meeting that he wants to discuss the details further.
Emily Darlington.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If reports are correct, Elon Musk has climbed down today under pressure from this government. And let's be clear, stripping women naked without consent in real life or online is abuse.
That was another one of the grok things. This bikini bot thing, is it? They can apparently do that. Yeah, it's revolting. Well, they can't anymore.
But we don't know whether to trust what X is saying today, and this isn't just happening on X. So will the Prime Minister join me and men and women across this House and our nation to say to any app and to any AI company that we will not tolerate and we will enforce any abuse of men, women or children in this country?
Can I thank you for raising this? The actions of Grok and X are disgusting and they're shameful. And frankly, the decision to then turn this into a premium service is horrific. And we're absolutely determined to take action here. We've made it clear that X has to act, and if not, Ofcom has our full backing and will introduce and are introducing legislation. Mr. Speaker, to update the House, I have been informed this morning that X is acting to ensure full compliance with UK law. If so, that is welcome, but we're not going to back down. They must act. We will take the necessary measures. We will strengthen existing laws and prepare for legislation if it needs to go further. And Ofcom will continue its independent investigation.
As someone with a personal experience,
I think they at least deserve a humongous fine for what they've already done as well. Gigantic.
of AI-generated images, the recent AI images shared on X, particularly those of children, sickens me. Yet, the leader of reform continues to defend Elon Musk. Anyone who defends platforms linked to sexual exploitation of children forfeits any right to give lectures about protecting women and girls. What will the Prime Minister do to stop any political party from putting tech billionaires ahead of protecting our children?
Damn right! And I thank her for raising this, and it's astonishing that Reform defend Musk on this issue. It is complete. I said the images are disgusting. Their position is disgusting on this. This is weaponising images of women
he thinks it's funny.
and children.
He thinks it's funny.
that should never be made.
What a piece of crap.
And that's why we're acting. Reform refused to do anything about it. But more than that, the point she raises is really, they would...
All he can do is smirk and snigger. What can you say?
He's an asshole too, sir. Gun is made first class Philip asshole.
Scrap the Online Safety Act that stops children accessing content like pornography, suicide, self-harm and eating disorders. They're an absolute disgrace and know nothing about protecting children.
Can I just say, we're only on question 18. If we don't want to get MPs in, please, you're going to have to work with me. Kevin Bonavent.
My constituents.
Work with me. You've literally said fuck all throughout the entire proceedings so far. Work with you.
Stevens, we're appalled to hear Reform MPs oppose the principle of deploying British troops to maintain a peace in Ukraine. Our brilliant armed forces have defended democracy in Europe across a generation, so it is shameful that the leader of Reform opposes that today. That is not leadership, it is surrender. Does the Prime Minister agree that Labour governments always have and always will defend British interests, not those of Russian dictators or oligarchs?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, this is a question of values and freedom, I'm proud of the British workers in his constituency, in fact, supporting our Ukrainian allies. Ukrainian soldiers are defending European values on the front line every day. And, Mr. Speaker, in the event of a ceasefire, multinational force will carry out defence and deterrence operations and conduct training, planning, recovery and regeneration of Ukrainian forces. But this week, the leader of Reform said Russia had a casus belli. That means a justification for war in invading Ukraine. A Putin apologist using Russia's talking points.
Lewis Cocking.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The world is becoming more dangerous every single day, and the Ministry of Defence has said it needs an extra £28 billion to keep us safe. Well, I know where the Prime Minister can find it. Stop this nonsense Chagos Island surrender policy and spend that money on protecting...
Couldn't go a week without it coming up. Don't know what the pin is. He's got a badge of some description on there. I'm not sure what all that's about. Chagos. Go on.
In the United Kingdom. Will the Prime Minister commit to that, or will he continue to put the interests of foreign governments and countries above our own?
Diego Garcia is a vital military base with important capabilities of our own. It's integral to our security. Our decision was welcomed by our allies.
It said it very quietly, but there was a security in there.
India and the United States. It was opposed by our enemies, including Russia. Now we can add the Tories to that list and Reform to that list. The Tories following Reform, Reform following Putin.
Yasmin Qureshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to offer my condolences to the families of the 4 people who died in the road traffic accident which occurred over the weekend in my constituency. Mr. Speaker, families...
That's Yasmin Qureshi, who's one of the Bolton MPs. Yeah, it was in local news. Terrible accident in which 4 people were killed in a road traffic accident this week. Quite terrible stuff.
In Bolton South and Walkden are already benefiting from this Labour government's action on free school meals, free breakfast clubs, 30 hours funded childcare, scrapping of the 2-child limit, taking nearly 500,000 children out of poverty. But in Bolton South and Walkden and across the country, there is a chronic shortage of social housing and genuine affordable homes. Will the Prime Minister now show the same ambition on housing and commit to a major expansion of social housing?
Prime Minister.
Can I just say that my thoughts, and I think the thoughts of the whole House, will be with all those affected by the terrible road traffic accident in her constituency over the weekend, and our thoughts with all of those so awfully impacted. On her question, we are determined to restore the dream of home ownership. That's why there's been £39 billion of investment to deliver the biggest boost in social and affordable housing in a generation. Through planning reforms, the New Homes Accelerator and New Towns, we're determined to deliver the homes that people need.
How many?
Not Luke Evans.
Won't you give us a phony number?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I welcome the Prime Minister's commitment to the violence against women and girls strategy, but I and many have concerns about stigmatising young boys, men and masculinity as inherently toxic, especially when suicide is the #1 killer for young men. So is it about time that we have a minister for men and boys? Because this is about women and men, not women or men.
Prime Minister. Can I thank him for his support on what we're doing on violence against women and girls? Can I also agree with him that this isn't about women or men or boys or girls? It's about both. And that's why I was very pleased to bring forward our men's health strategy, one of the first of its sort, to deal with the challenges that young men in particular, in my view, have growing up, particularly with social media, but also to go further on the question of suicide. And I know that that's something that the whole House is prepared to work together on, and quite right too.
Caroline Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As trade envoy to New Zealand, last year I visited Eden Park in Auckland to hear their exciting plans to bring the Edinburgh tattoo to New Zealand. Well, next month that plan becomes a reality, and one of Scotland and the UK's greatest military displays will be taking place in Auckland. This spectacular event is testament to the exciting and successful trading relationship between the UK and New Zealand. Will the Prime Minister join me in congratulating and thanking everyone who's made this a reality?
Can I thank her for raising that, because the Royal Edinburgh military tattoo is absolutely brilliant, as anybody who's seen it will attest, and I'm so pleased that it's heading to New Zealand, and I think it's another example of Scotland's unique contribution to our international image, our culture and tourism, and I think we all wish them the very best of luck in their performance, and I know it'll be very well received.
Timothy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The police fabricated intelligence to get Israelis banned from Villa Park, as demanded by Islamists. It's not an isolated case. Forces cut deals with dodgy mosques and refuse to arrest preachers who incite violence.
Shut up.
The CPS uses the Public Order Act as an Islamic blasphemy law. In prison, governors do deals with Islamists to maintain order. And we all know about the rape gangs. So will the Prime Minister launch a review of the corruption?
Can't believe a Member of Parliament standing up and actually using the term Islamists. It's just so embarrassing.
Of our criminal justice system by Islamists and the politics of communalism.
Fuck off.
Prime Minister.
Well, I disagreed, as he knows, with the decision of the West Midlands Police, and the Home Secretary will be making a statement in relation to it today. Mr. Speaker, the Home Secretary used to have power to remove Chief Constables. That power was stripped by the 2011 Police Reform Act. The honourable member knows who was making decisions in the Home Office at the time. It was him, working for Theresa May, that stripped that power away.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and a belated Happy New Year. But for the 4.8 million leaseholders across England, it's not a Happy New Year. They're going to be receiving large bills in a matter of weeks. They've been waiting patiently for us as a new government, a government that said we were going to deliver that change to bring forward the legislation on leasehold and commonhold. So I want to ask the Prime Minister, when will we see that legislation so that we can put those leaseholders out of their misery?
Well, can I thank her for raising this really important issue, and we are bringing forward proposals very shortly now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 35,000 children, including my constituent Clover, live with uncontrolled, life-threatening epilepsy. Those who can afford it are already benefiting from prescribed medical cannabis, yet families face endless delays, confused trials, and a Home Office process designed for criminal misuse, not healthcare. Will the Prime Minister meet with me and affected families to move paediatric medical cannabis out of Home Office control, create a pathway for proper trials and NHS access, and ensure that all children with life-threatening epilepsy get the care they deserve, regardless of their family circumstances?
Well, can I thank you for raising the case of Clover? NHS England and the National Institute of Health and Care Research recently agreed funding for 2 world-first clinical trials relating to the use of
just legalise it, for God's sake.
This could help see medicines more routinely available in the NHS, and I'll make sure that she gets the meeting that she wants with the relevant minister to discuss what else we're doing.
Hello, Donald.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The people I represent are fed up with Southern Water, from sewage to broken pipes and water outages, even on Christmas Day. In November, millions of plastic beads washed up on our beaches, and we discovered they'd come from a Southern Water treatment plant. I'm now campaigning for water companies to stop using this outdated plastic bead method and bin the beads. We're really concerned about the impact on wildlife, and we have a massive clean-up operation on our hands. Over 5,000 people have already supported my campaign with Sussex Wildlife Trust. Will the Prime Minister join me in sharing his horror at this dereliction of duty from Southern Water and calling on them to face the full force of the law for this terrible pollution incident?
Can I credit her with helping expose this scandal and working with her and everyone in her community, volunteering to clean up the beaches? That is the very best of who we are. But people are right to be furious that for far too long water companies were allowed to get away with polluting our seas and beaches. The Environment Agency are leading a full investigation, but we are more generally ending unfair bonuses for polluting water bosses, abolishing Ofwat and introducing tougher penalties, holding companies to account.
Been a message,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ahead of the forthcoming consultation on local government reorganisation, last month Huntingdonshire District Council voted for option E, a Huntingdonshire Unitary Council. This was a cross-party view, and the Prime Minister's own Labour councillors voted in favour of it. There is a suspicion locally that the government favours option D, proposed by the Labour Eastern Regional Office, which would see Huntingdonshire and my constituency split in two and combined with Peterborough. Can the Prime Minister offer assurances to my constituents and those across Huntingdonshire that the decision isn't already a done deal and that the democratic will of Huntingdonshire District Council won't be overridden to satisfy an unelected Labour regional office?
Prime Minister.
There are no done deals here. We're going through the proper process.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The staff at West Herts Teaching Hospitals Trust, which operates Watford General in my constituency, have been very busy bees. They have recently won Trust of the Year and Performance Recovery at the 2025 Health Service Journal Awards. Will the Prime Minister join me in congratulating the amazing team at Watford General and thank them for all the hard work that they have done to achieve this admirable accolade? Imagine what further achievements that they will make when they have their new hospital and new facilities.
I will join him and thank the staff in his hospital, but also the NHS staff across the country who worked so hard over Christmas and New Year, which is notoriously a difficult time.
That completes Prime Minister's questions. Let the front benches change over.
Well, a pretty eventless finale to the session there. That's the end of proceedings for PMQs and a 2-0 win for security. Low-scoring affair, pretty much. So, Blackhall failing in its challenge. Security now going on a 3-week streak. That'll be it until next Wednesday. Let's see how that affects the league. We don't update this in real time, but it does mean that security will go into second place with 9 points and 15 mentions, so pushing budget into third. As far as the bottom goes, there won't be any change there, with Blackhall not even getting a mention. Okay, so that will be it for Keith's catchphrases this week.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Blackhall plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let us know in the chats or in the comments if you're watching back later what you thought about that session. Let's see what people are saying at the moment. But well, perhaps the plans to set up a second allotment of some kind there more. Who knows? Yeah, on the Maccabi Tel Aviv thing, Chief Constable, complete scapegoat as well. Good point there. And the shouty bloke. Iranian airspace is now empty, and whilst we've been going through the session, I've been looking at some other reports. British forces have moved out of Qatar. There have been some other interesting movements and manoeuvres that we'll go on to later in the stream. But for now, we're moving on. And away from Keith's catchphrases. A shoddy performance, as usual, there from Keith.
Oh, God.
Don't forget to hit thumbs up on the stream, people, and fill out the poll. Speaking of the latest developments between the US and Iran, will there be a significant development by the end of this stream? Most of you say nay at the moment, 77% of you. And we'll see as we get on to other topics, but do make sure you fill out that poll. As you join us, hit the relevant buttons and all that other stuff to help support the stream.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Come here and take a fucking oath to defend the...
More to come on that one later. First off, we'll take a look at a poll, having finished PMQs. This is the latest general polling for the next general election. But it also features your party. And I'd really like to know what you make of this. Stats for Lefty sharing this poll from Freshwater Strategy, which took place between the 9th and 11th of January, compared to a poll which took place on the 30th of November 25. But there you can see Reform still with a significant lead, Labour battling it out with the Tories, the Greens making another slight gain on 12%, a bit of a battle for second and third going on there between Greens and Lib Dem, but significantly, and Stats for Lefties, like I said earlier, highlighted this, they have been getting mithered for some time that they weren't featuring your party in enough of the polls, and here you go, and they've compiled it, but at the moment, nationally, only currently garnering 0.6% of the vote according to this poll. I'd like to know what you make of that, people. Green Party still in the ascent. That is a 0.1% increase, and it is still early days where your party is concerned. They only had the debut conference a matter of weeks ago, but given certain events at the conference, do you think that might have hindered them? I don't know. At this point, obviously I mostly agree with them on policy, where policy is concerned. In terms of organisation, it certainly could have been a lot better, a lot less volatile, but that's all been and past now. The party is formed. We'll see what they can make of it. We'll see what happens with the leadership structure, for example, in the future. That's all still to come. But at the moment, it doesn't look like, according to this freshwater strategy poll, too many people are looking at putting a tick in the box, but we could see progress there. Got to stay optimistic. As well as for the Greens. Share your thoughts in chat. Just another quick story from the UK. I mentioned during PMQs been some controversial issues recently with local elections set to be delayed. Some constituencies, in fact, not going to the ballot for 7 years. Unbelievable. And there's been some protest. Don't adjust your devices. Right, so what's happening? The police were called as the council voted to shelve an election. This is Redditch Borough Council. And you can see in the middle the chief executive, John Leach, there. They implored a protester to leave the meeting. A councillor called a member of the public a Nazi, and the police were called. About 50 protesters turned up to the meeting at Redditch Borough Council. Labour councillor Ian Woodall became involved in a row with a member of the public, and both left the meeting earlier after tempers frayed, and the epithet was used. Police were called but said no criminal offence had been committed. Woodall issued an apology and said his reaction was an error of judgment and fell short of the standards expected as a councillor. The council is due to be dissolved and replaced with a unitary authority. The council in Worcestershire was due to hold elections in May, with 9 of the authority's 27 seats up for grabs, but it was the only council which will apparently save taxpayers 192 grand, according to this article. So it's all been going off there. But no, just one of many examples. Local citizens clearly offended by this. 50 protesters showing up. It's it's an affront to democracy. Check if there's any latest news. Okay, people. Yeah, do any of you live in that area? Let us know before we move on. We're actually going to see a rare apology from the BBC about misleading reporting. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the Scottish budget Apparently, Radio 4's, was it the Today programme? Weren't too accurate in how they reported the outcome of the budget. So let's see.
The headlines, and we would like to correct a mistake made in this news summary yesterday, where we said the Scottish budget would mean more than half of workers will pay more tax than if they live elsewhere in the UK. The tax changes announced in Holyrood will actually lead 55% of workers in Scotland paying less tax compared to other parts of the UK. We apologise for this error.
Oh, it's just open SNP bashing there, I don't know, or whatever. But, yeah, rare apology there. They reported the complete opposite of reality. We'll go over to the States now and check out some of the latest ICE-capades. But starting off with the President and ICE receiving quite an official, thorough bashing. This is someone by the name of Mr. Cohen from Memphis. You'll have to forgive me, I'm not familiar with this particular American politician to know his first name, but this is really well put. I think this just sums up the whole Renee Good murder, as well as ICE's and Trump's Gestapo-esque attitude to all this. It's here, it's happening before our very eyes. Don't say we didn't tell you so. But this is really well put.
When that officer came up to the car and reached in and grabbed inside and said, "Open up your car door, get out of your car," he had no right to do it. And when she drove off, the man in front of her, who shouldn't have been there, that was insane, he had his gun out almost before she started to drive forward. And it was clear she was turning to the right. This was an unjustified homicide in our country that we've all seen. And the administration jumps in and says, we're going to attack this woman and call her a domestic terrorist. She's a victim who is not with us anymore. She's dead because an officer of the United States of America killed her, and it's been on video. And we've seen our president, our vice president, and Cruella Gnome go after her as if she was some type of domestic terrorist. They've attacked her before her body's in the ground. Any law enforcement community that I know of, certainly the Memphis Police Department, if an officer does a shooting, even if it's pretty clear that it's self-defense, they are relieved of duty pending an investigation. This man has not been relieved of anything. He was sent to the hospital by the defense counsels that they have their attorney saying, cover your CYA. And he went there to CYA. When he was walking away from the scene and going, call 911, he was walking like he was in the Olympics. He had no problem walking. And then they all jumped in their car and drove away and left the crime scene.
And now since then, they've tried to come out with this, he suffered internal bleeding in the torso. But as Mr. Cohen's about to go on and explain, that CYA, cover your arse thing, essentially, for insurance purposes and whatnot, how it is in the States, but also to try and create this bullshit cover story. No, he walked away from it perfectly fine. What internal bleeding? What a lot of crap. I'm not buying that. I'm certainly not buying that. It's pathetic. Coming from Trump, Vance, and Cruella Gnome, as he rightly described her there.
On the front end, they're directing traffic, telling her to get out of the car. He's telling her what to do and get out of the car and whatever they were yelling. And then after she's shot and they see her bleeding there, they drive off. Law enforcement doesn't drive off when somebody has been shot and is possibly dying. They try to render aid. They split. That's not America. The administration looks at ICE as our guys, and anybody they shoot is the enemy. The American public is not the enemy. They are not the enemy. And that's where they're coming from. This is a war against America and against due process and against justice. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back.
All said there from the representative, Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, Ross is screwed. Let's hope so. You know. What can you say? Well, he's been disowned by his friends, his family, his wife's left him since then. If he was just defending himself, then why would they do that? Why would they do that? And they've also said in the process that he's been an absolute piece of shit for years. A reactionary right-winger, yeah. On to a couple of other bits where ICE are concerned. There's been a 3-day school strike in it's tremendously loud. Keep it down. No, but look at the turnout there. This is the 3rd day of the strike, thanks to BG on the scene for this clip. Incredible line of people. But also, just as we take a look at these scenes, one story in particular was brought to my left eye's attention today concerning a teenage boy who was shot in the eye with a gas canister and blinded in the process, as ICE dragged him out of the crowd. He was armed with a megaphone, apparently, according to reports, which I seem to think warrants such a response. But yeah, this young man, who I believe is in his teens now, is blind in one eye for the rest of his life. He was rushed to surgery. But unfortunately, that's just one case of what these thugs are up to, of which there are many. For those who've been following the channel and streams recently, you've probably seen a lot of examples on your own social media as well. Well done, strikers. More public outrage came in the form of one particularly pissed off veteran. Take a look at this clip, people. Now, if you think that this could boil over into something bigger, then this example of public sentiment within the United States, I think, could be a significant indicator where that's concerned, especially from a former veteran, as we're about to see now. Oh, he is pissed. He is pissed off.
Come here and take a fucking oath to defend the country from foreign domestic terrorism and to fight for the Constitution. And these guys are coming here and disgracing this fucking building. I'm a veteran of 7 years. I've bled for this country. I fought for this country, for these people here of Minnesota to come and fight these motherfuckers. They're disgracing this fucking country and what it fucking means. They hide behind their fucking masks like fucking pussies. We're out here in the middle of everything, showing ourselves, showing our Minnesota and our freedom. And they're here, bullshit. So take that. I'm sorry. They sprayed your daughter? Yes. They were following ISIS down the highway, and they sprayed my daughter and my wife, and they almost ran them off the fucking road. So that's another thing. Fuck them, get them out of here. Our state representatives need to step up and fight for their fucking people like we are fighting. But they're too coward. They stay in their mansions and don't give a shit about us. And all they want is these fuckers just come in here and destroy this fucking state. So fuck it. Now you protest. Fuck ICE.
Well, so many people are on the fence on this issue, as you can clearly see there, with that undecided vote. No, seriously, great testimony there from that veteran. Well said, sir. Well said indeed. Time for people to step up. Time for the so-called representatives to do their job. If you've got any clips about what ICE have been up to, there have been quite a few that I could have shown you on tonight's stream, but do have to get moving on. But if you've got any, do send them in to us at myleftieuk@gmail.com, and we'll try and feature them on one of the streams or video content, because we need to keep calling this out as it happens and when it happens. Solidarity with everybody in the States who are trying to step up with this. We do, of course, have our own fish to fry here in the UK. Donald Trump's tyranny threatens to encompass us all. And speaking of which, there is no further news, official news. There's no news about an attack on Iran, but there have been a few reports of, like I said, certain military manoeuvres. I'll just quickly look and bring one up now. But obviously the United States holds several bases in the Middle East. Quite large numbers of troops have been withdrawn from those. The idea, of course, being that should America attack Iran remotely or via Israel, that would be to minimise any reaction to that on the bases very close to Iran at the moment. Also in Qatar, well, we'll take a look at what's happening in Qatar in this article next, because the UK are also moving personnel. The pieces are shifting, or they have been for some time. Don't forget, last time around we were told by Trump that they'd given Iran an absolute pounding and taken them out of the game for, what, years to come, generations to come. No, that was all complete bullshit. Let's see what's happening in Qatar. So the Al Udeid air base is where the exodus is to take place from, as Trump considers whether to take action against Iran over its crackdown on anti-government. Well, it's just It's another coup. It's another attempt at a coup. Let's be quite honest with ourselves. They want to redo 53. Qatari government statement said the measures being taken by the US were in response to the current regional tensions. 10,000 personnel are currently based there, as well as about 100 UK staff, but it's not clear how many of those will be leaving. So you can see there Qatar, east of Saudi Arabia, close to, well, you can see the top corner there, Iran, which in terms of geographical cubic square space, considerably larger. Speaking to Fox earlier today, Abbas Araghchi warned Donald Trump not to repeat the same mistake they did in June of last year, adding, "You know, if you try a failed experience, you will get the same results." Well, step up, I think is the general vibe of that statement. Yeah. They've certainly never shirked away from American aggression, lest we have to remind ourselves Iran are very well armed nation. And where Israel are concerned as well, again, this won't be like pushing people around like bullying Palestinians like they used to, yet again. In fact, certain high-profile figures have also been seen hurrying to Ben Gurion Airport to leave Israel because of what is now predicted to be retaliation to upcoming attacks. Italy and Poland have also published statements urging citizens to leave Iran. So there's quite a lot of this going on. Germany has issued a notice to air operators recommending flights do not enter Tehran, risking potential escalation of conflict and anti-aviation weaponry. A human rights agency said they've confirmed the killing of 2,400 protesters as well as 12 children. More than 18,400 protesters have been arrested during the unrest, the group also reported. Amnesty International says there are mass unlawful killings committed on an unprecedented scale, citing verified videos and credible information from eyewitnesses. That's appalling. That is terrible. But it certainly won't shift me to cheer on Donald Trump. Nothing ever could, nothing ever would. I can say what I'd like to say about this without having to back him, that's for sure. So, the groundwork appears to be getting set for some sort of attack. Question is, given recent events in South America, could we be looking at an attempt to render officials from Iran, as they did in Venezuela, of course? President Maduro. I think that would be a much tougher nut to crack where Iran are concerned. But when will it start? Where will it come from? Will it come from Israel or America first or simultaneously. Who knows? But at the moment, 79% of you think it will hold off for a little while. Of course, the United States, Eastern Time, at least 5 hours behind us in the UK. However, Iran itself is ahead of us in terms of time. A lot of these attacks do come overnight, where the recipient of the attack or defender of the attack is concerned. So who knows? From a Greenwich Mean Time perspective, maybe that could come in the early hours. However, people, as we get towards the stream, I'll just remind you to put your final votes in, although it's the closer we get towards the end of the stream, I guess the easier it is to decide who you might vote for, as we just get into the final thralls of the stream. Oops. Bit of an abrupt change there with the audio. What's going on? Also, as we get towards the end of the stream, I just want to give you good people, good viewers, a quick reminder that we're going to be down at the Your Party, not the Your Party. Rewind. Retake. Let's do that one again. No, I did mean to say the Take Back Power launch. Your Party conference? Just because we were talking about it earlier, I guess. But that is forthcoming this Saturday, and we're going to be down there. Some great guest speakers are going to be up as well. I know that a lot of hard work has gone into organising the launch of this new organisation, all about replacing the House of Lords with Citizens' House, as well as really taking on the billionaires and reducing that wealth gap, people. So watch this space for more exclusive content on that. I'm hopefully going to be bringing you some footage on the Sunday live stream at the end of the week. But hopefully we'll be on stream again before that. Alright, Brew Crew. We'll be raiding into this space as we round off tonight's brews at 10. So that also means the poll now is hereby closed, and as you can see there, 79% to 21. A clear victory, and you're quite correct as well. Unless something massive happens in the next few moments, then you were quite correct. There was no attack on Iran during this stream, but will that have happened the next time we see one another? Who knows? Don't forget to subscribe to this space as we raid in, hit thumbs up and all of that stuff. Do of course owe another massive shout out to all of the members on the channel. And finally, other ways that you can help to support us are with super thanks if you're watching back later on, and there's a Buy Me a Coffee page, so check that out in the link of the description of the stream. And of course, give us a follow on social media. Share some of our stuff around there as well. Don't forget the handle, MyLeftIUK. Thank you very much, everybody. 155 members now. Yes, I'm finally just 99 pence to join the list of awesome people you can see on your screen right now. So do check out those perks, hit the perks button. Thank you very much, people. You are solid. So that's all from me, your humble host Lefty, on tonight's Brews at 10. Take care, everybody. Power to the people. Free Palestine, Yemen, Sudan, and Lebanon. The Filton 24, the list ever grows, but whatever you do, don't let the bastards grind you down. Have a nice night. See you later.
A-R-A-I-D, on his rim is the health machine.